Adults of Reddit, what is something you should have mastered by now, but failed to do so? Writing a consistent signature. I just write my name like a for-yo. Mine is just a bunch of scribbled lines. I never have the same signature twice. Mine is just my name printed with a big swoosh at the end so it looks like I know what I'm doing but I really don't. Mine is my first initial, then a scribble, then my last initial, then a slightly longer scribble, then a long slash over the top of the second half which I guess is crossing the T in my last name. It looks like a sneeze on a page but I do it consistently so I guess that's the point. Edit till literally everyone on earth can convincingly forge my signature. Till we have the same signature. Not procrastinating. Time ducking management. This is so me. I've been making the same lazy ass mistakes and expecting different results. Jaya Jesus, man. I'm 39. I need to get it together and quit procrastinating. Better get back to work now. Here's an interesting article regarding procrastination. I was enlightened by it for sure. This actually has some very helpful, insightful information. In summary, procrastination is an emotional response because we're afraid of what that dreaded task will entail. Then we feel bad later, so our brain encourages us to do something else that makes us feel good as a coping mechanism. How do you overcome this? Well, you can't ignore the emotions that are causing you to procrastinate. There isn't a lot of information in here about how to cope with your emotions, but they do recommend that you cultivate mindfulness. This is a difficult thing to understand if you're not familiar with the concept, but meditation appears to be the key. When it comes time to tackle those projects, stop looking at the big picture and focus on small tasks. Every time I bite my tongue or the inside of my cheek, I am reminded how I still have not mastered chewing after decades of chewing daily. If it makes you feel better, you have chewed things hundreds upon hundreds of times this week alone. A bite of steak might be a dozen or more chews and you'll take many bites of it. Think not about how you haven't yet mastered chewing, but how your chewing failure rate is like one failure per several thousand operations, which isn't bad. This guy chews. A masticator, for sure. Mastication. No bleeding. Cut my food into pieces. This is my knife and fork. Mastication. No bleeding. Don't give a duck if I cut my cheek eating. Keeping my bedroom clean. Always thought as a kid that it just magically happened for adults. It doesn't. You still have to clean your bedroom even when you are 33. And cleaning in general. My house is a mess and I feel like it's an uphill battle. It's not gross, but nowhere near my mom's standards. I went in the opposite direction when I went away to college. I kept my room obsessively neat. My house was always cluttered and unkempt while I was growing up, as my mom had 4 kids and 3 to 4 dogs, along with nieces and nephews frequently being babysat. We never actually dined at the dining room table, because it was always covered in papers, laundry, change, tools, toiletries, whatever items someone decided to put there. Clumps of dog hair would blow across the floor like tumbleweeds. Empty, full, and partially filled cups were left out everywhere. Books that no one read, air conditioners, and boxes of random shit were stuffed in every corner. Picture the house in Malcolm in the Middle, only not as severe. Christmas was really the only time the house was neat, if only to make room for the decorations. Being neat and organized became my way of establishing a sense of control over my own space. It's easiest when you don't let chores build up, but clean things immediately after use or whenever you notice them. Eventually it just becomes a habit, rather a chore. Accepting a compliment. I'm giving an awkward response 1010 times. This one's easy, always say thanks. In a cheery tone. Just use that and don't bring any more attention to it. And avoid responding with a self-deprecating comment every time. After a while, it tends to make people worry. The self-deprecating thing is so real. I love your haircut, thanks, my hair is thinning and just never looks right. What I've learned is I do that to stop what I call aggressive complimenting. That looks something like this: your hair looks great today, thanks. Did you do something new to it? It's really working today, no? I got it cut a week ago. It really looks great, thanks. You must have a great stylist that it's growing out so nicely. Yeah, she's actually right up the street because it really looks nice today, and sometimes it doesn't even stop there. So what I've learned is reflective compliments. Your hair looks great today, thanks. Did you do something new to it? It's really working, yo, but that means a lot coming from someone with your style. If the first thanks doesn't get them, the return compliment shuts it down 100% of the time. What happens if the person giving the compliment is a greasy mess and it's obvious you're taking the piss if you start complimenting them on their style? You switch up the compliment. For a greasy mess person, you say something to the effect of "Thank you for saying so, you always give the best compliments." Sick compliment, bro. You give the best compliments, everyone knows that. I can't tie a balloon once I've inflated it. I can't inflate a balloon. Can you blow? With enough practice, anyone can do blow. Can you blow my balloon? Planning meals, eating healthy. Date, marry a food-conscious person. They help tremendously. Bonus, they will make out with you sometimes. I was that person until I started dating my ex and she refused to eat leftovers, aka food I cooked in batches. Kind of depressing looking back at my monthly food spending before after dating her. I had a roommate who refused to eat leftovers. We were good friends and both loved to cook. She still wanted to cook meals together and split costs, but anything not eaten that day became mine. Best roommate ever. That can lead to a change of wardrobe. Hug or handshake? Edit, I think I would be super interesting to see how introversion-extroversion correlates with handshake-hug. And then if you guess correctly that it's a hug, they hit you with a cheek kiss and you need to make the split-second analysis on which cheek they are going for. Sleeping. Terrible at falling asleep, good at sleeping though. Trying to fall asleep is sometimes like trying to start a lawnmower that won't start no matter how many times you pull the cord. Going to bed and getting up at the same time every day in a consistent routine. On the flip side of this, I can rarely sleep in past 7 to 308 on the weekends anymore. Frown. I'm 36, still have no problem sleeping till noon, however it isn't uncommon for me to sleep straight through my alarm when I should be getting up for work. Luckily, I'm not hourly and as long as I make money my bosses don't care. My uncle is almost 70. He could go to sleep on Monday 9 p.m. and wake up Wednesday 9 a.m. Never seen such a sleeper. Handwriting. It has gotten worse, not better, peaked at 4th grade. Same. I've had several different styles too, nothing looks good. I hope I'm never involved in a crime where handwriting analysis comes into play because boy that analyst is going to be annoyed. Did you write this in 2008? Yeah, I can't read it either. 36-year-old, can't whistle. I can't whistle outwards like a normal person. My only option is to suck air in. Not letting stupid people's opinions bother me. I get so many ignorant comments that I don't engage with because I think they're a waste of time. But I think about them anyway. Forever. A friend posted some ignorant shit on Facebook last weekend. I argued with her for days. #X200B, Ada, thank you for the silver, kind anonymous Redditor. You made my whole day. Basic math. You think you know basic math until you're finger counting during a game of DD Edit. My first silver, thank you, kind benefactor. I do this too, and most of my friends I play DD with are engineers. It's embarrassing for me, so I hide my finger counting under the table. Making friends. But most importantly, maintaining the friendship. It just fizzles out. I wonder why. I am an avoidant according to attachment theory. Maybe that's why. Edit, I cannot not do it. How can I not? Thank you for the silver, kind stranger. Smile at it, not sure how accurate this theory is. It's just interesting to me. Even I've to research about this properly. So take all this with a pinch of salt. Same issue. Maintaining those relationships is always really difficult, and I'm not entirely sure what you're supposed to do. None of it feels all that natural. From my experience, the key way to maintain relationships is to simply communicate with people regularly. I have some friends who have moved far away, but I still message them from time to time and we still end up hanging out whenever they're in town. It's not one-sided though, both parties need to put in some effort to maintain the friendship and communication. This is the problem I always seem to run into. I'm always the one initiating contact. If I don't do this, I never hear from them even if I purposely don't reach out to them for months. Ugh. This thread can have all my upvotes. It's so hard for me to maintain relationships with people. Like, reaching out to them feels so unnatural. They're living their lives and I'm living my own. It feels especially embarrassing when they take long to respond and you start to suspect that by messaging them, you're actually bothering them by suddenly inconveniencing them and guilting them into responding. It's a toxic cycle for me, and for that reason, reaching out to old friends can feel pretty exhausting, even when I lived some of the best years of my life, college, with them.